Hi, thank you. Thank you for coming, everyone. Thank you for attending the largest annual event for AWS Summit 2018. I know it's been a long day. A lot has been going on, listening to different tracks, talking to different speakers, as well as customer and partner to get the best out of today's event. I'm Mavis Chuah. I'll be presenting to you building a case for cloud. And why does it matter to you? We believe that in the fullness in time, most of the enterprise will run their IT workload in the cloud, and we are just at a startling pace. You have seen words and trends saying that cloud has become the new normal and it has been the new way of doing things. So with this, I would like to present to you a very light note on how you can actually get started with cloud, and hopefully you are able to identify top 3 takeaways that you find it useful. Now, the business environment is changing at a very quick pace due to the uncertainty of the market and also the accelerating of pace that has been introduced to the market. In the past, an average S&P company will be able to last about more than 60 years, but now it has shrunk to less than 15 years. This is due, and if you can see companies like Airbnb, who has disrupted the hotel booking system, Pinterest, who have changed the way we do visual searching, it has been introducing a lot of disruption to the market. And with that, two-thirds of the company, even if realizing that, companies are still spending two-thirds of their technology budget into areas like maintenance activity rather than keeping their business up to pace. And CIO nowadays has even greater responsibility than before in comparing them from only managing IT maintenance systems, operating system, they now have become a innovation of the company, bringing the business into a leading pace. How this affect you? And if you are a company who is running at such model, you should be starting to feel you are left without necessary resources to pursue business critical need. Why? Because you are devoting largely of your resources into areas like maintenance, operating system, doing things that is unable to help you to keep up the pace. Second, your IT infrastructure lack of the agility. Your procurement cycle is very lengthy. Just give you an example. If you're running on-prem or you are having something on-premises or co-location or in your office, probably, let's say, we give you a scenario. If your product manager or marketing manager come to you with a new idea, how long does it take for you to realize that? First, you talk to them. Second, you then allocate resources and capacity planning. Then you talk to different suppliers for different quotation, comparing pricing, performance, and services. And then you make a decision to make an order for them. Then you take a few months of delivery time. And the whole process takes you easily 3 to 6 months. And we are just talking about getting started on an idea that they've proposed. Now with cloud computing, you are able to do it within minutes from spinning up one server or to 1,000 servers just through the internet. And finally, cybersecurity has become much more important due to the sophisticated of the cyber attack, and the way that we are doing security for IT space and cyberspace is changing a lot. You need to have a very strong posture to protect the business. With this, responding requires a new model of engagement. And what we believe here is cloud has become a model for customer or businesses to double down their investment. To first, support core mission, and second, differentiate your business from your competitor in a much more agile way. As a result, you can see we have broken it down to 4 pillars that you can go through with this cloud adoption journey. First, we focus on differentiation, and then you identify your superpower of your business and you double down on that. Then you can migrate under your own terms. And of course, this should be able to help you to reduce significant risk and help you to protect your business. Let's first talk about the core principle of focusing on differentiation and retiring technical debt. Unless you are running a hosting business, it is unlikely that maintaining the infrastructure or the activity of maintenance should be a core business of you. Why would you want to be spending resources, time, and effort doing something that doesn't help to change your business, doesn't value add to your business? Just take General Electric as an example. Probably we have heard of it, and it has outlasted many of us here with a 100-years-old company, right? GE is a 140-years-old company. They have business strength in aviation, renewable energy, industrial energy, and plenty more. And one of them is GE Oil and Gas. one day they have realized that even though with the expansion of or incremental investment in their technology budget, but their business is unable to innovate. They were still doing just fine, linear growth, and even with additional or doubling down the investment. And then they realized a problem. By investing in expanding in data centers, in expanding in improving the operational excellence is running a data center, isn't their core business. Because what we want to know from GE is what's the oil and gas that they're providing, what is the price point, what is the quality of it, rather than how they're running their data center. And since then, they have actually go through a digital transformation with on the cloud adoption journey with AWS. Since 2012, they have started their migration and cloud adoption journey with AWS, migrating more than 500 applications and 750 terabytes of data to the cloud. And this has bring them to a attainment of 52% of reduction in their total cost of ownership. They were able to significantly reduce their IT costs. In addition, they have greater speed to market. GE, so this is just talking about GE oil and gas as an example. GE as a whole have migrated more than 9,000 applications to AWS Cloud. And this is a good example for you to think about rethink your approach to technology investment, how you can remove complicated infrastructure and focus on your business core strength. Rather than spending time and resources in capacity planning, you can get it within minutes over the internet with cloud. Let's take a closer look into ASEAN customers. Some of the ASEAN customers ranging from enterprises, startups, SMBs, government agencies, institutions, education, NGO, and so on and so forth. And you're probably familiar with the brands here. And they are using AWS cloud computing in a very meaningful way, in many ways. It can be a hybrid, it can be an all-in, it can be a new pivot of the business. And let's zoom into one logo that has been the hottest topic in town for the past few weeks. They have recently announced a major merging news, Grab. How many of you here came here with Grab today? Or plan to leave here with Grab? So AWS has been the strategic platform for Grab since many, many years, since they started business. And they were able to roll out consistent customer experience and satisfaction with AWS by rolling out new features, new services, and improving their ways of operating. And one thing I'll share with you more interestingly is what Grab do with AWS, right? They have actually built a predictive modeling on AWS that actually contains vast amount of data in the past, in the history, and also real-time ingestion data, and analyze it to deliver an actionable outcome for their commuters and also drivers to take on to solve the supply and demand at various peak time. So you might be wondering, how will the driver know where to go at certain time? How do they get to send sufficient drivers to the passengers, and passengers will be able to book sufficient Grab drivers, at least most of the time, right? So they have been using these analytics to do prediction, feed the drivers with the information, understand where are the hotspots of the country and timing, so that they're able to do more accurate delivery for the customers, and has helped to change the way we have take transports. Now, not only that, we help Grab or local companies to run their business locally, we've also helped them to expand it to globally with the AWS Global Infrastructure. AWS has 18 regions, 52 availability zones, and more than 100 edge locations. Well, what am I talking about, right? Let me slow down a little bit here. So in the global map, you can see the AWS footprint across the globe. Now, the orange circles is region. So take region as an example of a country, a geographic area, like Singapore, where we are today. In Singapore itself, we have more than, and in each region, you must have more than 2 availability zones. Availability zone is a cluster of data center that is isolated geographically, power supply, but they are interconnected with very low latency connection to be able to deliver high availability for customers. So let's say one AZ or availability zone is down, the other one is still up and running. You can swing over very easily. So that's where that's where the resiliency and high availability model comes to you for your disaster recovery. In Singapore itself, one region, you can see we have 3 availability zone that has expanded, and the latest AZ was announced in February 2018 due to the demand that is requested from the ASEAN customer. Now that you have removed the complexity of your business, what do you do with the resources you are left with, you are freed up with? You are now a free man with more resources. You should do more. You should innovate at speed and double down your superpowers. Where are you good at? Let's take an example of Singapore Post. Do you know what is Singapore Post? I'm sure any of you have, most of us has used it some way, if it be letter, delivering letter, parcel, internationally, locally, or even buying a concert ticket over the counter, right? Now, Singapore Post is a traditional mailing company, and they have also identified that business has to diverse to be able to cope up with the market change. They have diverse into financial services and also e-commerce services. So they have identified the market gap between retailers, like brand retailers like Bata and plenty more, that they want to go online, but they were unable to do so because running an e-commerce business is not as simple as you see it at the front end. It requires a lot of technology platform, a lot of innovation and iteration behind the scene. And they've come up with this SP e-commerce that delivers a one-stop solution for retailer to go on board e-commerce by providing them solutions like logistic, inventory management, and many more, e-commerce systems, and many more. And when the CEO of e-commerce SP think of spinning off this business, they were evaluating. They were evaluating with on-premise. They were evaluating with other cloud provider. Who should they go for? And with 3 main criteria. One is security. Second is reliability. Third is scalability. And it's very important for them to keep their data secure. It's very important that there is no downtime for the technology platform. And lastly, they have the vision to go global. And AWS has been the chosen platform for them to spin off their business since day one. And they were able to spin off this business within 3 months on AWS. And also be able to expand to countries like Australia just within 1 day. The CEO shared that if they will have to do it in data center, from the day to procure, get to meet suppliers, build, configure, and so on and so forth, it could easily take them few months. So cloud computing has changed the way they are able to expand globally. And of course, they were also comparing that we were able to at least save 50% of their costs running on AWS compared to on-premise. Now, how we have helped customers to innovate at speed is from the pace of innovation that we are introducing our services. From this graph, you can see the pace of innovations that we have introduced to the customer. Gives you a perspective, since in 2011, we introduced probably about 82 services and features. While last year itself, we've introduced more than 1,300 services and features. So as a builder on AWS, on average, you wake up on a day, you will get to have 3 new services or features, capabilities that you can use that you want to use or not. And you might be wondering, how does it look like in a nutshell, right? It actually looks like a very beautiful rainbow layered cake. Let's talk about the base of the cake. At the base of the cake, we have infrastructure that we've provided to you out of the box. We have core services for compute, storage, database, CDN, cloud content delivery network, security compliances, and management tool for you to use. And this is the base of the cake. Now, on top of that, what do we value add to you? Do we have IoT services? Yes. Do we have business analytics? Yes. Do we have DevOps? Yes, we do. Do you have mobile services? Yes. Do you provide AI ML, the mega trend that we are talking about, artificial intelligence and machine learning? Of course we do. Amazon has been testing, building, and using machine learning 20 years ago since Amazon Retail started off. And now we have made it available for customers like yourself, developer like yourself, out of the box by a click away. Be it from text to voice, voice to text, facial recognition, plenty more. If you have seen some of the news that we have talked about, Amazon Go, Amazon Drone, Prime Drone, plenty more, all these are powered by the AI ML that we have developed in the past. On top of this layer, if you would like to look for some specific solutions, we have thousands of solutions made available in the marketplace. Now, out of all this technical support that we give, what about human touch? Do you have anyone running in the business? Of course we do. So at the highest level, technical and business support, you can talk to me, you can talk to our solution architect, you can talk to our technical account manager, and if you are enterprise going through a cloud formation or cloud transformation journey, you would like to have a professional service to come in and give you consultation, we do have in-house professional service too. Now, with all the resources that we have armed you with, we have equipped with, you can now migrate under your own term. Migration to the cloud is a process that takes time and iterations. Unless you are a business who runs a web application that you can migrate it within minutes or within days, if you have enterprise workload that is running on legacy processes and application, that takes time and iteration. And what we have identified with other customers is we have observed patterns and types of the stages the enterprise go through the cloud adoption journey. And this graph gives you mind map, how does it look like? And it basically separates into 4 pillars: project, foundation, migration, and reinvention. And with this, you are able to retire your technical debt slowly and tremendously at the end of it, once you can refactor and reinvent your application. Project is pretty much at a stage where you first know someone, right? You first get to know AWS. What do we offer? What is Amazon Elastic Compute Cloud? What is Amazon Simple Storage Service, S3? And all these jargons, you get to know them more. Second, you build your foundation. Once you have get to know us better, you build a foundation of the services. You get to know what are the workload. You get to identify a few workload, be it mobile app, the most common one, web application that you can start off doing with AWS Cloud. Then you can experiment it, and then you can slowly take off your technical debt with the on-premises or data center. And then you will go through a cloud native. You become more cloud native when you can migrate your workload over to AWS and then leave the technical debt behind. But in this phase, you might have 2 scenarios. One, you will do a lift and shift, or you will refactor your whole application to get into services like auto scaling that you couldn't get on the on-premise. So what is auto scaling? Auto scaling is a service that we make available for you over the web browser that you can scale out and scale in automatically based on what you require. So probably if you have a spiky workload and then there's downtime, what happened? In the past, 3 a.m. you might need to wake up and configure the website and add on more capacity and resources. But now with auto scaling, you are able to have a night that you can sleep soundly without having a trouble to get a call at 3 a.m. to wake up. Hey, your website is down. Can you scale out? So this is where we are making things better and improving the experience for you. Let's look into the migration framework overview. This breaks down into more detail on how you can do your migration. First, you have discovery and planning, and then you migrate a business case. Like I've shared with you, you get to know what is it about AWS. Identify mobile or web application that you want to get started with, and then you configure the landing zone. Landing zone is where you set up a VPC, virtual private cloud, and you can have a foundation of AWS environment like account setup, role setup, and plenty more. Then you evaluate the security and compliance, whether this is something that fits your flavor. This is something that you want? Do we fit your compliance? Is the security strong enough for you? Operating model, you will identify an operating model that you will be running and to run and operate the application on AWS. And this comes a very important part of skills and COE, cost of excellence. You need to identify your warrior or champion to bring this forward. Because most of the companies have the idea or have the vision to move to digital transformation or cloud adoption. But they lack of the champion of warrior to bring things forward, to bring this change to a big leap. Hence, you need to identify the warrior of it, and I believe it's all of us here who is attending the AWS Summit today. And then you will go through a migration experience, a POC, proof of concept, where you will be able to stimulate compare it with on-prem scenario or situation, and then you run it on cloud. And then you can fine tune, add in elements that you wouldn't be able to achieve it in the on-prem, etc. And then you go through a migration plan, a detailed migration plan, like how long do you think it will take, what are the workload that you want to work time by time. And we all strongly urge that after this, you will go through app migration whereby you have done most of the heavy lifting to AWS, and you will go through this visual cycle at the last panel. Design, build, integrate, cut over, validate as an operating model. And this is an iterating model that you will keep on going and going, because it is very important for a business to keep agile and adaptive to changes. With the iteration, you are able to respond to market faster and able to accept changes quicker. There's a saying, right? It is not the strongest animal who will survive through time. It is not the smartest who will survive through time, but it is the most adaptive one who will survive through time. And that's where we are breaking down this to help company to become more agile and adaptive to market changes. Some of the enterprise application that you can look into for migration, if you have legacy processes, if you have heavy workload like such, it has been a very common practice for customers to migrate these enterprise applications to AWS. AWS offers a reliable and secure cloud infrastructure that enables enterprises to quickly launch the entire enterprise software stack from Oracle, SAP, Microsoft in the cloud. And have any of you heard of Amazon Relational Database Service, RDS? It is our database service that managed database service that helps you to offload a lot of administrative work. Administrative workload such as patching, updating, backup, all this administrative work you might have the heavy administrative work that might take up resources from your talent, but it doesn't differentiate your business. And with this, you're able to automate it, and you get your talent and your resource to do something more meaningful, probably something more meaningful like big data, data analytics, and plenty more. Let me share with you an example of a Pacific Interlink, a commodities customer who has used AWS to migrate their SAP workload. So these customers provide fast-moving consumer good, FMCG, beauty, cooking oil, and plenty more. It's a large company. And what happened is they come to this realization that they want to go through a digital transformation. They want to get rid of paper-based solution. They want to be paperless. And they also want to get the company to be ready to do things such as Internet of Things, IoT, and also business intelligence. However, the lack of agility in their on-prem, they're unable to do so. So they were evaluating different platforms that is available. They talk to different providers, different vendors. But at the end of the day, AWS has been chosen as the favor cloud platform for them to migrate over. Because of the sophisticated and experienced cloud expert that we've been able to help them to identify reasons, to identify their challenges and give them solutions. And we have been the cloud platform that have the most use case for SAP migration. So in this case, they're expecting to save at least 650,000 over the next 3 years compared to hardware-related expenditure. Imagine with this huge amount of saving. You can do a lot more meaningful things for your business. You can invest it in IoT, you can invest it in big data to improve your targeting, your precision, your product improvement. And not only that, they're able to improve their administrative workload by 300%, reduce it. Imagine the manpower, the man-hour they're able to save from this. They're able to do a lot more meaningful things. Of course, by saying this, exploring new opportunity is a moot point if security and compliance can't be maintained. And we have seen much more cyber attacks, vulnerabilities that is getting more and more common, right? And you have probably heard of these attacks recently, ransomware, and security has become much more important than before. Skills and organization for security continues to change. Now, what you can do is to strengthen your security posture with AWS infrastructure. The infrastructure security can be one of the most complex elements of your operation because a high degree of interconnected system across a wide range of hardware vendors make it difficult for you to get visibility on what is going on and what's new. And you were able to achieve the kind of economy of scales compared to AWS because of the millions of customers that we are serving globally. So with this, you're able to secure strengthen your security posture with AWS, as our infrastructure has achieved more than 50 global compliance certifications and accreditations. Benefit from AWS leading security team 24/7 through 365 available, and this infrastructure has built to serve government, military, financial institution, enterprises, startup, or SMBs. You are using an enterprise-grade tool to build your business, whether which business unit you are. And you're using the same kind of security that we offer to the most stringent provider. And a plus point for Singapore region that you should be using, AWS is the first AWS is the first global cloud service provider who has gotten the multi-tier cloud security standard level 3, the most stringent certification for security given by the auditors. And this should give you additional confidence to use AWS infrastructure. And of course, leveraging all the security enhancements that we have offered to millions of our customers. Besides all the certification and accreditation, you can get access to a deep set of security tools, which is incredibly powerful for you. These security tools include networking, encryption on-site or server-side, make available for you one click away, identity and management. You can set roles and responsibility, whether you want this person to have read, write, or both, or to only certain services. Compliance. Compliance is where you get to know what is happening inside out of your business. And for example, some of the customers I've met, they have servers running in the office, right? A few stack of servers running in the office. That's very common for a lot of business. And they will tell me a common problem that, you know, Mavis, I have a lot of servers, I'm paying the bills. Sometimes I don't even know where they are. So if you have a employee trying to you have an employee who kept a server underneath their cupboard, you wouldn't be able to identify. And they could have been doing it for some fishy, shady stuff, you wouldn't know because you lack of visibility. Probably they are doing some Bitcoin mining with you paying the bill. You wouldn't know because of the complexity of getting transparency and visibility in the old world. So by having all these security tools, you're able to get the visibility and transparency to understand inside out of what is running in your environment. And in addition, businesses are using AWS Cloud to enable faster disaster recovery for their critical IT system without incurring infrastructure expense of a second physical data center. A few things that you can do in a few DR scenario, disaster recovery. If you have invested in on-prem, you want to expand it to cloud, you can have it. You can use us like a backup and restore for file, for AMI, for snapshot. Right? You just swing over, have it live up if something happened to your on-site. Second, Pilot Lite. Pilot Lite, it's a smaller version of your architecture in the cloud. Let's say if you have this big of architecture of this complex like servers, layered, and so on and so forth, you will have a much smaller version of it. The same layer, but at a much smaller size as standby mode. So in case anything happened at on-site, you will take some time for you to spin up, to expand it, and then you can go live. But of course, this takes a little bit more time. Compared to warm standby. Warm standby is where if your business, you are unable to take any losses, data losses, or downtime, you should have a warm standby where both of them are a mirror of replication of each other. So if anything happened to one side, you get to have the other up and running. So these are the few things that you can consider. Well, probably by now you have heard enough from me. I would like to invite our customers of us to let you hear from them what have they done about their cloud adoption journey. Let's welcome Greg Meehan, the partner and VP of sales from Supahands. Thank you, Greg. Thank you for coming to today's event.
Thanks, Mavis. Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for joining us for the last breakout session of today.
Great. What is Supahands? Supahands.
Supahands. Supahands provides a platform that connects our large remote elastic workforce across Southeast Asia to businesses across the globe. So they actually complete very high volume data related tasks like image annotation, data preparation for machine learning algorithms, and data tagging as well.
And how has this business has to do with AWS, or how have we helped you in your business? How have you helped you in your journey?
Good question. um, so Supahands as a business relies on scalability. So because we have an elastic workforce, we can breathe in and breathe out depending on our customer demands. So we've been using services like AWS since day one, and quite frankly, without companies like AWS, we wouldn't be in existence at all. So AWS allows us to execute work very, very quickly and deal with erratic traffic at the same time. So to give you an idea, our remote workforce has actually grown from one remote agent in January 2016 to just over 2,000 agents right now. And with the help of AWS, we can actually scale that to 1 million users if we need to overnight without the risk of any downtime or any disruption. So not only that, I mean, the benefit for our clients in terms of that is not just the number of people, it's the amount of work we can actually execute, so we can scale that pretty rapidly as well without any disruption or downtime.
So you were saying that you were able to scale with AWS and you have started off with zero capital expenses. It sounds like a smooth sailing journey, and it sounds like too good to be true. Is there any obstacle or business challenges that you have seen in the past journey? Can you share a little bit more about the pain points, some juicy new information about it?
Yeah, sure. So as I'm sure a lot of people here will appreciate, being a startup, every day is a challenge. But to be concise, I'm going to break it down to 3 key challenges that we sort of faced, and then as a business, how AWS helped us overcome those challenges. So number one, we're going to look at resourcing. So as a small business, you can imagine that we're lacking in both capital and time. So using AWS, we can spin up a series of EC2 instances pretty much in just a couple of clicks, rather than having to have on-premise storage set up. And we actually run around, at last count, if my tech guys are out there, then probably shout at me for this. We're running around 18 different services through AWS, and because you only pay for what you use, it's very, very cost effective. So that's from a resourcing point of view, very quick and very cheap as well. The next thing is the scalability of the business. As I mentioned before, because we have such a large remote team, we need to be able to breathe in and out depending on our clients' demands. And with that comes spikes in our traffic to our website. So using Elastic Load Balancer and auto-scaling, as Mavis mentioned before, we can actually deal with that demand without any sort of manual intervention, so we can sleep sound at night. And the last thing as well is the resilience and the reliability. I mean, we are a web-based remote workforce, so we're entirely dependent on our site and our platform being live. So we are very much an event-driven microservices infrastructure. That basically means we can decouple our services, so there's no single point of failure. So if any one particular service goes down for whatever reason, we can always keep the infrastructure running. So that's helped us maintain about a 99.95% uptime since we've been using AWS.
You have 99.95 uptime for your business.
Yes.
That's amazing. Now, we have heard like technical sharing of your benefits. What about business value add for you? Do we value add to your business at all?
Yes, of course. Otherwise, we wouldn't be using you guys. So what we've managed to achieve over the past couple of years is 100 times throughput in terms of the amount of data we can process in any particular unit of time, whilst only sort of scaling the team, our tech and product team, very marginally. So it's allowed us to scale very, very quickly, very rapidly, without any disruption. So it's been very, very beneficial for our clients as well.
Great. Thanks for the incredible sharing, Greg. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mavis. Thank you for listening. Thanks so much.
Yeah, Greg will be sticking around. So if you have more questions, you want to listen from a customer point of view, you can look for him. In short, in summary, we help you to remove capital expenses to operational expenses, lower your variable costs more than any companies can achieve because of the economies of scale that we are able to do. And you do not need to guess capacity because we have auto-scaling available for you. The resource is out of the box by a click away. And remove undifferentiating heavy lifting by having resources doing things that doesn't differentiate a business. Lastly, you can go global within minutes on AWS with our global footprint. Next time for you, which is very important, Probably these three takeaways that I would say I urge you to take home. First is to form a team. Who is the champion? I would say all of you here and your colleagues or your friends who is here at this AWS Summit today is a champion of cloud. You are here because you have a driven interest. You want to learn, you want to do something, you want to innovate on the cloud with AWS. Second, probably you can join our cloud readiness workshop. Come and talk to me or our AWS folks around that they will be able to let you know when is the next session. And lastly, come talk to us, be it IoT, AI, ML, we have both around. If we are unable to help you in a way, we have thousands of partners around that we are able to enable you to the cloud adoption journey. I hope my sharing today has give you some takeaways in a very meaningful way. Thank you for coming to AWS Summit 2018. Thank you.